Welcome to today's video, where we challenge a common assumption that more money in a 529 plan is always better. Once your education savings are on track, the conversation should shift to long-term wealth, control, and tax strategy. We will explore the risks of overfunding a 529, the UTMA control trap, the power of a custodial Roth IRA, and how to blend these for maximum flexibility. Let's get started. As your child's education savings approach their target, the stakes change. Continuing to pour excess funds into a 529 may restrict flexibility, complicate financial aid, and miss broader wealth opportunities. This is where decisions about control, tax efficiency, and compounding for retirement truly matter. Here's our roadmap. First, we'll review the strengths and limits of 529 plans. Next, we'll examine the UTMA control trap. Then, we'll highlight the Custodial Roth IRA and why it can be a power move. After that, we'll show a strategic blending framework, discuss the 529 to Roth safety valve, and cover key financial aid and tax implications. Finally, we'll wrap up with an action plan and a quick quiz. Let's begin with what 529 plans do best. They offer tax-free growth when funds are used for qualified education expenses, and many states add deductions or credits. However, non-qualified withdrawals may incur taxes and penalties on earnings. The main drawback for our topic is flexibility. If you overfund a 529, you tie up capital in an education-only container. Recent legislation provides a potential safety valve. Certain 529 funds may be rolled into a Roth IRA for the beneficiary, up to a lifetime cap of $35,000, subject to multiple conditions, including account age, contribution timing restrictions, and annual IRA limits. Guidance evolves, so verify current rules with a professional and your plan provider before relying on this. Next, consider UTMAs. They shine for liquidity and investment flexibility. But the trade-off is serious. UTMA assets are irrevocable gifts to the child, and fully theirs at the age of majority, which varies by state. You may be handing a substantial, unrestricted portfolio to a young adult. Additionally, UTMAs are typically treated as student assets in financial aid calculations, which can materially reduce aid eligibility. On top of that, unearned income in these accounts may be subject to the kiddie tax. These are important control and tax considerations. Now let's pivot to the Custodial Roth IRA. If the child has legitimate earned income, this account can be exceptionally powerful. Contributions are limited to the lesser of the child's earned income or the annual IRA limit. Once inside, growth is tax-free and qualified withdrawals in retirement are tax-free, enabling decades of compounding. This structure also avoids UTMA's unearned income issues. The key is documentation. Ensure earnings are real and verifiable to withstand any IRS scrutiny. This offers control and long-term wealth building rather than short-term spending risk. This flowchart illustrates a decision framework. First, determine whether the education goal is on track. If it is not, prioritize the 529 until the target is met. If it is, check whether the child has documented earned income. If yes, prioritize funding a custodial Roth IRA up to the annual limit or their earned income, whichever is lower. If there is still excess, decide whether you need flexibility and are comfortable with the loss of control and financial aid impact associated with UTMAs. If you are, use a UTMA. If not, consider adding a modest buffer to the 529 and plan around potential future Roth rollovers. If the child has no earned income, ask whether flexible investing is essential despite control risks. If yes, use a UTMA with intentional guardrails. If not, keep a reasonable cushion in the 529 and reassess annually. The diagram flags FAFSA, impacts near the UTMA branches, and emphasizes documentation near Roth decisions. Comparing the two, UTMAs allow broad investment choice and easy funding, but transfer full control to the child at the age of majority, are treated less favorably in financial aid, may face kiddie tax on unearned income, and are irrevocable. Custodial Roth IRAs, by contrast, offer tax-free growth with decades of compounding and generally more favorable treatment for aid compared with student-owned assets. They do, however, require the child to have earned income, are capped by annual limits, and are intended for retirement, which restricts short-term access. These trade-offs highlight why a Roth IRA often becomes the preferred vehicle once education savings are secure. This table summarizes differences. Parent-owned 529s are typically assessed at a lower parent asset rate for FAFSA and remain under parental control, with tax-free treatment for qualified education expenses. UTMAs are treated as student assets at a higher weight in aid formulas, and control flips to the child at legal adulthood. Gains are taxable and may be subject to the kiddie tax. Custodial Roth IRAs are generally not treated like student assets in the same way, focus on retirement, and provide tax-free growth with qualified withdrawals. Exact aid treatment can vary with Faith ESA updates and the CSS profile, so confirm with your institution and current regulations. Here's a practical sequence. First, set a specific 529 target that includes tuition, room and board, and a modest buffer. Next, once the 529 is on track, prioritize the custodial Roth if your child has verifiable earned income. Third, reserve UTMA funding for situations where investment flexibility clearly outweighs the loss of control and financial aid trade-offs, and establish explicit guardrails on deposits and future withdrawals. Fourth, document all income and contributions, maintaining evidence such as W-2s or legitimate business records. Finally, reassess annually, because aid formulas, tax rules, and your child's maturity can change. Let's address the safety valve. Current law allows certain 529 funds to be rolled into a Roth IRA for the beneficiary up to a lifetime cap, commonly cited as $35,000, and subject to annual Roth IRA contribution limits and specific timing rules, such as account age and restrictions on recent contributions. Custodian practices may vary, and guidance continues to evolve, so coordinate with your plan provider and tax professional. Used thoughtfully, this mechanism helps convert excess education savings into long-term retirement growth, reducing the downside of overfunding. Quiz time. Which account hands full legal control to the child at the age of majority? Option A, a parent-owned 529 plan. Option B, a UTMA account. Option C, a custodial Roth IRA. Option D, a 529 rolled to a Roth IRA. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We'll discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is the UTMA account. UTMA assets become the child's property at the age of majority, typically 18 or 21 depending on the state, and the child gains full control with no restrictions. Second quiz. What is required to contribute to a custodial Roth IRA for a minor? Option A, a high GPA and school enrollment. Option B, documented earned income and staying within annual limits. Option C, only the parent's consent. Option D, a UTMA account in the child's name. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is documented earned income, with contributions limited to the lesser of annual IRA limits or the child's earned income. Keeping proper documentation such as W-2s or records of legitimate business income is essential. These are the key takeaways. Avoid overfunding 529s once your education targets are met. UTMAs offer flexibility but come with material control and financial aid trade-offs. Custodial Roth IRAs deliver tax-free compounding with helpful behavioral guardrails. Use the 529 to Roth rollover carefully where allowed. Blend intentionally. Hit the 529 target. Prioritize the Roth next, and consider UTMAs last with clear guardrails. To recap, set a precise 529 target and avoid overshooting. If your child has earned income, prioritize the custodial Roth IRA. Use UTMAs sparingly and with intention. Where permitted, coordinate 529 to Roth rollovers within the rules. Lastly, review changes to aid formulas and tax regulations on an annual basis. Disclaimer: this content is for educational purposes only and is not individualized tax, legal, or financial advice. Strategies discussed may not be appropriate for your situation, and laws and guidance can change. Consult your tax advisor, financial planner, and plan custodian to confirm current rules and suitability for your circumstances. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful, please like the video, share it with someone who is planning for a child's future, and subscribe for more content. Let us know in the comments what your biggest question is, about 529s, UTMAs, or Roth IRAs.